All right, so we drew our scheme out, and I think this is more clear. So we're getting first name from customers, right? And then we're getting order ID from orders, and we're getting order date from orders, and we're getting item from items. And so we go from customers as C join orders, and you can see customers joined to orders on CID, so on, right? Customer CID, order CID, and then we join, next one over is order items, so we join this data set here, right? That's an entire set. We're going to join all of that to this, right? All that to this. So we join order items, and orders is joined to order items on OID, right? So we do we do OID from orders, on OID from orders and OID from order items. And then we take all of that set, because that returns a set, and we're going to join that to items. So we're joining all of these three to items, all the data that's returned by that, and these are joined by IID. So on order item IID to items IID. How many people that's more clear for you? Okay, right? So your schema totally makes a difference. Being able to see your schema and be able to map it. So then the next one we did was first OID, ODate, item. So we did full join, then we did the full join by order. All right, so how would we do that as a select? And there's a couple of different subqueries that are described in the chapter. There's a row subquery, a table subquery, and a scalar subquery. He explains, the book explains, this is how a row subquery works, but nobody ever uses them, and most databases don't implement them, so whatever. And then there's a table subquery that returns one or more columns and 0 to many rows. So table is like columns and rows. And then there's a scalar that returns one column and no more than one row. So it's basically, if you think about columns and rows like a spreadsheet, right? Database is stored in this kind of two-dimensional setup where you have rows and columns. The columns are the fields, first name, last name, address, and the rows are the records. James Bond, England, Jenny Moneypenny, England, right? So we have columns, which are fields, and we have rows, which are records. So a table subquery will give you it'll give you some columns and some rows. So you're getting several boxes of data from different columns and different rows, different fields and different records. And a scalar subquery will give you one box. So it'll give you one value from a certain column and a certain record, a scalar subquery. And so that's what a scalar subquery is. And it's an expression that evaluates to one value, aka one column, column A, let's say, or first name or whatever, and one row, right? It equals one field from one value. So one column, one row, it'd be like 2A. What's the value there? Scalar evaluates to one value. So here we're saying select, we did up here OID, ODate, and first, and now we're doing OID, ODate, and now, hey, let's get a scalar value, and we'll select first from customers, right? And where, CID is equal to OID. And so for each OID, order CID, right? So order CID. So for each order, let me get our little table down here. For each order, so we're getting order ID and order date from orders as O. So order ID and order date. For each order, we want to select C first from customers, where CCID is equal to CCID, customers CID is equal to OCID, where these are connected, right? So we're getting the value for each order. So as we select all of this from orders, right? Whatever order we're on, that CID, connect it to this CID and give me first name. Or we could have just done the join. So we could have also just done it that way. So those will give us the same results. So let's see them run. Boom. And then that's with the subquery. And boom, that's with that one. I just did scalar for whatever reason. I don't know if there was an example of doing a table subquery. And or I don't recollect why. I don't think I did. I'm just looking at this. Oh, I did do them. Never mind. They're coming up. Table subqueries coming up. So that's a scalar subquery. Scalar subquery. Scalar.